lad. Here's toss-up 1. One of these characters notes that Crowner's quest law entitles a gentlewoman to Christian right despite seeking her own salvation and calls his own occupation Adam's profession. One of these men says he poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once, referring to a man whose skull is picked up by a prince who says, alas, poor Yorick. For 10 points,
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
no, -5. Sorry. For 10 points, what comic characters from Act 5 of Hamlet prepare for Ophelia's burial?
Like the fools.
No, they are the Gravediggers. Toss-up 2. This man denounced William Randolph Hearst as a man as low and as...
Al Smith?
Yes, for
Let's
15.
go.
A 2019 Art House Politics video tried to guess the political leanings of the Smash Ultimate roster. 10 points each. King K. Rool was speculated to be a writer for this far-right website. Steve Bannon is its former executive chairman.
Breitbart.
Yes, Toon Link was described as someone who replies to AOC tweets by telling her to go on this Dirtbag Left podcast, whose hosts include Amber Frost and Will Menaker.
Young Turks.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Young Turks?
No, it's Chapo Trap House.
Nice guess.
Seamus Aaron was analogized to a feminist in the vein of this 2013 Sheryl Sandberg book subtitled Women, Work, and the Will to Lead.
Oh, shoot. I don't know.
Answer.
The second sex.
Lean in, 10 on the bonus.
Let's go. Keep
Toss
going.
up
Let's go.
3. Coherent states are eigenstates of this process's namesake operator, which is paired with one denoted a dagger. The Feynman diagram for this process consists of 2 straight lines on the left meeting at a vertex, producing a wavy line heading right. Pair production is the...
Annihilation?
Yes, for 10.
Yes!
After its government was overthrown in 2011, this country's long-dominant RCD party was dissolved for 10 points each. Name this African country whose National Dialogue Quartet won the 2015 Nobel Peace Prize.
National what?
15 Nobel Peace Prize. What was?
Answer, Liberia. Captain? Liberia. Tunisia. The Tunisian Revolution was part of the first wave of this 2011 series of pro-democracy, anti-regime protests in the Middle East.
Arab Spring?
Yes, in another Arab Spring revolution, this Egyptian president, in power since 1981, was overthrown and later ordered to stand trial.
Great. You say Mubarak?
Yes, that's 20 on the bonus.
20.
Toss up 4. This world leader was criticized for not apologizing to a former naval officer whom his government charged in 2018 with breach of trust. This leader interfered in an investigation into the company SNC Lavalin, led by his Justice Minister, Jody Wilson-Raybould. In an October 2019 election, Jagmeet Singh and Andrew Scheer will challenge for 10 points. What liberal... Modi? No, -5. In an October 2019 election, Jagmeet Singh and Andrew Scheer will challenge for 10 points. What Liberal Party leader, the current Prime Minister of Canada?
Trudeau?
Yes, that's
Nice.
10. In a 2005 film, the sight of Carmine Falcone strapped to a stoplight inspires the creation of this device. For 10 points each, name this device on the roof of the Gotham City Police Department.
The bat signal.
Bat signal?
Yes, this commissioner of Gotham's police force often turns on the bat signal.
Gordon. Commissioner Gordon.
Yes. The S signal used to summon Superman in Metropolis is on the roof of this building, purchased by Morgan Edge in the New 52 comics.
Wait, Morgan who? Edge. Is it Daily Planet, maybe? Daily Planet?
Yes,
Nice.
that's all 30.
Big bar.
Toss up 5. In this novel, a local peasant girl is discovered eating butterflies in a garden. A diagnosed schizophrenic in this novel is cared for by the mountaineer Ali Hook.
Satanic Verses.
15.
Nice.
This city's Teatro Colón is ranked as one of the best opera houses in the world for 10 points each. What city's namesake obelisk stands in the middle of the extremely wide Avenida 9 de Julio?
Buenos Aires.
Go ahead.
Buenos Aires.
Yes, Buenos Aires is across the Rio de la Plata from this capital of Uruguay.
Montevideo.
Yes, Buenos Aires is divided into 48 of these official neighborhoods. In the U.S., this term has come to denote a low-income majority Hispanic neighborhood.
Is it favela?
No.
For the U.S.
Oh,
Shoot.
Answer?
favela?
No, barrio, that's 20 on the
let's go.
bonus.
Let's go.
Toss up 6. Joseph Liouville showed that all Liouville numbers have this property. The Lindemann-Weierstrass theorem is often used to prove that
Convergent?
no, -5. The Lindemann-Weierstrass theorem is often used to prove that a number has this property, one specific case of which implies that squaring the circle is impossible. A number has this property if it is not the root of any non-zero polynomial with integer coefficients. E and pi are examples of, for 10 points, what numbers that are not algebraic.
Yeah. Transcendental.
Yes, 10.
Nice.
10 points each. Name these women who won the Booker Prize. This South African author of July's People won the Booker Prize in 1974 for The Conservationist.
Gordon.
Yes, this author won the Booker in 2009 for Wolf Hall and in 2012 for Bring Up the Body, 2 of her novels about Thomas Cromwell.
Mental.
Yes, this author, who has a contentious relationship with her sister Margaret Drabble, won the 1990 Booker for her metafictional novel Possession.
Buy it.
Yes, that's all
Good
30.
30.
Toss up 7. In the 1960s, this architect designed a standardized air traffic control tower for the FAA. He used 16 concrete pillars to support the roof over the glass mullioned walls in his Sundrome at JFK Airport.
Saarinen?
No, -5. The National Gallery of Art's East Building was designed by this man, who included spaces cantilevered over Lake Erie in his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For 10 points, name this architect of the Louvre's glass pyramid.
Pay?
Yes, 10.
Okay, it's like- no,
For 10 points
I
each,
want
name these
you-
military operations fought on French soil. Sword, Gold, and Omaha were among the beaches assaulted in this June 1944 Allied operation that landed in occupied France.
D-Day. D-Day?
Yes, Napoleon III and over 100,000 French soldiers were captured at this decisive 1870 battle of the Franco-Prussian War.
Sedan, right? Sedan?
Yes, for 13 months beginning in 1627, forces under Louis XIII besieged this French port on the Bay of Biscay as part of a war against rebellious Huguenots.
La Rochelle, I think. La Rochelle?
Yes, that's all 30.
Big bar.
Toss up 8. This country's southern tip, Cape 3 Points, is the closest land on Earth to 0 degrees latitude and longitude. A type of cloth known as kinte was traditionally woven by this country's Ashanti people.
Ghana.
Yes, for
Good
15.
buzz.
After he left office in 2011, this politician was investigated for corruption as part of the Odebrecht scandal. 10 points each. Name this former president of Peru who shot himself in April 2019 when his home was raided as part of that investigation.
It's not Richard, but
Pedro.
Answer?
States.
Alan Garcia. The Odebrecht scandal grew out of Operation Car Wash, which brought down Dilma Rousseff's government in this South American country.
Brazil.
Yes. Operation Car Wash focused on diversion of revenues from this Brazilian petroleum company.
Petrobras.
Yeah.
Petrobras.
Let's go.
Yes,
let's go.
that's
Let's
20.
go. Let's go.
Toss up 8. No, toss up 9. This book was the subject of Annie Dillard's master's thesis, and it directly inspired her book, Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. This book's chapter, Brute Neighbors, relates its narrator's conversations with William Ellery Channing and describes a war between red ants and black ants. A section on economy about it.
Walden.
Yes,
Nice.
for 10. 10 points each. Answer the following about twist endings in Agatha Christie novels. Hercule Poirot hints that Mr. Ratchet was killed by 12 fellow train passengers in this 1934 novel.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes, at the end of the murder of Roger Ackroyd, it is revealed that the killer is James Shepard, who unusually has this role in the novel.
Narrator. Yeah. That makes sense. Narrator.
Yes.
Nice.
In the novel Curtain, this narrator of many of the Hercule Poirot novels is left a note detailing how Stephen Norton manipulated people into committing murders.
And then there were none.
Answer?
And then there were none.
Captain Arthur Hastings, 20 on the bonus.
bar.
Toss up
Okay,
10.
let's go.
This vehicle's crew included Robert A. Lewis, who was asked by New York Times reporter William Lawrence to write a log of its best-known mission. An instrument-laden vehicle called the Great Artiste accompanied this craft on a mission photograph from the vehicle Necessary Evil. Paul Tibbets named this craft after his...
Enola Gay.
Yes, for
Nice.
This work quotes the Civil War song Marching Through Georgia in its first movement, which depicts Augustus St. Gaudens's memorial to Robert Gould Shaw and the Massachusetts 54th Regiment. For 10 points each, name this 3-movement orchestral work whose last movement is titled The Housatonic at Stockbridge.
Oh, is this like 3 places in New England?
Yeah.
3 places in New England.
Yes, this American composer wrote 3
Ives.
places. Yes. In his second symphony, Ives quoted this patriotic song that describes purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain.
America.
Beautiful.
It's America the Beautiful.
Let's go.
20 on the bonus, toss up 11. An extremely soft phrase near the end of this symphony is marked wie ein Hauch, meaning like a breath. The chorus Mysticus sings of the eternal feminine in this symphony.
So, Symphony of 1000?
Yes, for 50.
Yes!
For 10 points each, answer the following about antifreeze. This 2-carbon diol is one of the most common ingredients used in antifreeze.
What's it called? 2-carbon diol, so...
Answer?
Diethene?
It's ethylene glycol.
Oh,
Antifreeze works because of freezing point depression, an example of these properties that only
Colligative.
depend on the
Colligative.
amount. Yes, antifreeze often contains a bittering agent to discourage accidental or deliberate consumption, since ethylene glycol is very toxic. The body metabolizes it into this compound, which makes up most kidney stones.
Calcium what?
Is this calcium carbonate?
Maybe.
Calcium
Answer?
carbonate?
Calcium oxalate.
Ooh, that's an
10
L.
on the
Keep it
bonus.
up, let's go.
Toss up 12. A fictional male one of these animals sings a song noting Sisi ni sawa, or We're the Same, with Jasiri. The body of one of these animals is the answer to the riddle, out of the strong, something sweet.
Lion.
Yes, for 15.
Let's go.
The winning side in this battle used war elephants purchased from the Morians to isolate the losers' cavalry for 10 points each. Named this 301 BC battle in which a coalition of Diadochi defeated and killed Antigonus I.
Ipsis or Isis?
Ips.
Ipsis.
Yes,
Nice.
the alliance that defeated Antigonus included this general. The empire named for him ruled most of what was once Persia and survived until 63 BC.
Seleucus?
Say it again.
Seleucus.
Yes. After Ipsus, Antigonus' son Demetrius established himself as the king of this state, the original home of Alexander the Great and the Diadochi.
Macedonia.
Yes, that is all 30 and the
go.
end of the first half. The 10th book of this text describes a man's refusal to sit unless his mat was straight. This text often cites the Book of Odes and includes praise for the disciple Yan Hui. Parts of this text about the concept of Ren emphasize the...
Dao De Ching.
No, -5.
Sorry.
Parts of this text about the concept of Ren emphasize the importance of rights and filial piety. In this text, the master says, do not impose upon others what you yourself do not desire. For 10 points, name this collection of Confucian sayings.
The Annals.
No, it's the Analects.
Let's go.
Toss up
Let's
14. Accumulation of this compound in improperly stored fish can lead to scombroid poisoning. In the stomach, this compound is produced by enterochromaffin-like cells.
Serotonin?
No, -5. In the stomach, this compound is produced by enterochromaffin-like cells and stimulates gastric acid secretion. Basophils and mast cells store this compound, whose receptors are targeted by drugs like Benadryl. For 10 points, name this molecule that mediates inflammation and allergies and is derived from histidine.
Histamine.
Yes, that's 10. This novel's protagonist refills Shelby's canteen rather than carrying out an order to kill him. For 10 points each, name this novel whose protagonist rides with John Glanton's gang.
What's the McCarthy novel?
Answer?
On the road.
On the road?
No.
Blood Meridian.
Blood
The
Meridian.
protagonist of Blood Meridian, the Kid, is implied to meet his end at the hands of this hairless, 7-foot-tall, quasi-supernatural villain.
Is it the Giant? Is his name the Giant? It's
I
not,
don't
but like.
think so. I forgot
Answer?
his name.
The giant.
Don't you go.
The Judge.
Judge.
This author wrote Blood Meridian. His
McCarthy.
Border trilogy. Yes, that's 10 on the bonus.
Let's go.
Toss up 15. In 2019, Michael Sori and Ali Bramson posited the existence of a huge magma chamber beneath this body's south pole. The ESA's trace gas orbiter took pictures of dust devil tracks on this body. An HP-3 mole burrowed underground on this body in 2019 after being released from the InSight lander. Perchlorates indicating the existence of liquid water were recently...
Mars.
Yes, for
Let's
10.
go.
For 10 points each, answer the following about Pascal's triangle. The entry in row N, column K of Pascal's triangle can be found using this operation on N and K. Give the name of the operation, not the formula.
Yes.
Combination.
Yes.
Next.
On any even-numbered row of Pascal's triangle, the middle term, minus the term 2 spots to the left, is one of these numbers, the first 5 of which are 1, 1, 2, 5, 14.
Fibonacci.
No Catalan numbers.
Oh.
Coloring only the odd numbers in an infinite version of Pascal's triangle produces this fractal.
Right.
Serpentine triangle.
Yes, 20 on the bonus. Toss up 16. In his directorial debut, this man depicted Los Angeles skateboard culture in the 2018 film Mid-90s. In the Lego Movie franchise, the Green Lantern is voiced by this actor. In a comedy franchise,
Rogan?
no, -5. In a comedy franchise, this actor played the nerdier of 2 police officers who pose as college and high school students. War Dogs and Moneyball co-starred for 10 points what actor who starred alongside Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street? Yes.
Jonah Hill.
Yes, 10.
Yes!
For 10 points each, answer the following about the Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment forbids the use of excessive bail or fines, as well as punishments described by these 2 words.
Cruel and unusual. Cruel and unusual. Cruel and unusual.
Yes, this 1972 Supreme Court decision held that inconsistent application of the death penalty violated the Eighth Amendment, thus ending capital punishment for several years.
Yeah. What in the death penalty?
Answer?
Race Weber.
Furman v. Georgia. In this 2015 decision, the Supreme Court held 5-4 that using the sedative midazolam as part of a lethal injection cocktail does not violate the Eighth Amendment.
I guess we're a case.
I think so.
Yikes.
Oh my God.
Answer?
Texas.
Glossop v. Gross, 10 on the bonus.
Big bar.
Toss up 17. At the opening of this battle, the ships Goliath and Zealous raced each other to fire the first shot against the enemy. Fighting in this battle stopped for 10 minutes after an explosion destroyed the ship Orient. Admiral Francois Paul Brie d'Agalière,
Orient, like, a battle of Manila Bay.
no, -5. Admiral Francois Paul Brie d'Agalière died during this battle, which took place at Aboukir Bay. Horatio Nelson defeated Napoleon's navy in, for 10 points, what 1798 battle in Egypt?
Battle of the Nile.
For 10.
Nice.
Roger of Wendover gives this man the name Cartaphilus, for 10 points each. Give the 2-word phrase generally used to identify a man whom Jesus tells, "You will go on."
Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good Samaritan? Or no?
Answer?
Good Samaritan.
The Wandering Jew. The Wandering Jew was cursed to eternally roam the earth after he did this action while Jesus was carrying the cross. According to tradition, the thief crucified on Jesus' left also did this to Jesus.
Mocked.
Was it mocked? Okay. Mocked him?
Yes. Roger of Wendover reported that Cartaphilus was a doorman for this prefect of Judea, who symbolically washed his hands after presiding over Jesus' trial.
Pontius Pilate.
20 on the bonus. Toss up 18. Georg von Bekesi won the Nobel Prize for discovering the tonotopy of this organ's layout. This organ's central part, which contains a potassium-rich fluid called endolymph, is called the scala media.
Cochlea?
Yes, for 15. The U.S. route system was a series of highways that predated the interstate system, for 10 points each. This mother road connected Chicago to Santa Monica, California. A song made famous by Nat King Cole urged listeners to get your kicks on this route.
Route 66?
Yes, the U.S. route system also included this scenic parkway that winds through the Appalachians in Virginia and North Carolina before ending at the Smoky Mountains.
Blue Ridge Parkway?
Yes, U.S. Route 50 runs all the way from Sacramento to this resort city in Maryland. This city hosts over 300,000 beachgoers on summer weekends, despite
Ocean
having...
City.
Yes, that's all 30. Toss up 19. This goddess was offended by the glory of Mount Ebbe and proceeded to destroy it. 60 diseases struck this goddess after
Ishtar.
15.
Good buzz.
Many systems of this type set the speed of light in a vacuum and the Boltzmann constant, both equal to 1 for 10 points each. Give this term for unit systems that are defined in terms of universal physical constants.
Like empirical? I actually don't know. Empirical?
I have natural units. In the system of natural units proposed by this German physicist, units are defined using his namesake constant h that relates a photon's frequency and energy.
Yeah, Planck.
Yes, Planck units also set this universal constant equal to 1. It was measured by Henry Cavendish using a torsion
So
balance.
big G, big G.
Yes, that's 20 on the bonus. Toss-up 20. One character in this show invested in a fake company called Pioneer Aviation and nearly killed himself after the woman he loved got engaged to Donald Penobscot. Sherman Potter took charge of this show's title institution after Henry Blake died. Over 121 million people watched this show's final episode in 1980.
Like Twin Peaks.
No, -5. Over 121 million people watched this show's final episode in 1983. Surgeon Hawkeye Pierce was played by Alan Alda on For 10 Points, what show about a Korean War hospital?
MASH.
10.
Yeah.
Nice.
This artist's Seagram murals arrived at London's Tate Gallery on the day of his 1970 suicide. For 10 points each, name this American artist whose color field pieces, like number 61, Rust and Blue, consist largely of solid stripes of the title colors.
Rothko.
Yes, Rothko was a major figure of abstract expressionism, a movement that also included this action painter of autumn rhythm and lavender mist.
Yeah, Pollock.
Yes, this other color field painter included zips of contrasting colors in his Vir Heroicus Sublimis and the series Who's Afraid of Red, Yellow, and Blue.
It's Newman. Newman?
Yes, that's all.
Nice.
30. Toss up 21. On this island, tourists watch the sunset from Mallory Square at the end of Duval Street. This island, whose
Key West.
yes for
Good
15.
buzz. You're crazy, dude.
This artwork was plagiarized from a piece by Henry Pelham, who likened the theft to highway robbery. For 10 points each, name or describe this piece of visual propaganda in which a cloud of white smoke partly obscures a view of the old State House.
I got
Yeah,
it.
skip for
Answer.
painting, I don't know.
I don't know.
Paul Revere's print of the Boston Massacre. Revere's print lists victims of the massacre, including this mixed-race dock worker, often cited as the first casualty of the American Revolution.
Addicts.
Yes, both Revere and the print's publisher, Benjamin Eads, belonged to this group that, among other things, burned down the office of Commissioner Andrew Oliver after burning effigies of Oliver himself.
I was thinking. Can't think of it. Sons of Liberty.
Yes, 20 on the
Nice.
bonus. Toss up 22. The boy soldiers who died in this war's Battle of Acosta New are commemorated on Children's Day.
The Paraguayan War.
No, prompt.
Triple Alliance.
Yes, for
Nice.
15. John Stuart Mill classified lighthouses as this type of good for 10 points each. Name this type of good that everyone can consume simultaneously and from which no one is excluded, such as air.
Natural good? Or right?
Answer, natural public good. Because maintaining a public good requires resources, this economics problem occurs when those who benefit from a public good don't pay for it.
Like free riders? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, free riders.
Free riders?
Yes.
Yes.
Overconsumption of public goods often gives rise to this type of harm that affects people who did not choose to incur that harm.
Bystander? I don't know.
External harm. I don't know.
Wait,
Innocent bystander.
External
Answer?
harm. External harm.
I have negative externality. That's 10 on the
okay.
bonus.
I know what they're for.
Toss up 23. This author used the exclamation, get up for shame, to begin a poem in which he repeatedly urges a girl named Corinna to go a-maying. He called the sun a glorious lamp of heaven and asserted that age is best which is the first, in a poem from his collection.
Virgil.
Time. Say it again.
Virgil.
No, -5. In a poem from his collection, Hesperides, that begins, gather ye rosebuds while ye may. For 10 points, name this English author of the Carpe Diem poem, To the Virgins to Make Much of Time.
Herrick.
Yes, for 10. This play's title character muses, it must be a terrible misfortune to be poor, for 10 points each. Name this play that ends with the valet Jean handing the title character a razor with which to commit suicide.
Miss Julie.
Go ahead.
Miss Julie.
Yes, this Swedish playwright of The Ghost Sonata wrote Miss Julie.
Strindberg.
Yes, in Miss Julie, Jean kills Julie's canary by performing this action. A Christmas game involving this action is proposed by a visitor to Camelot in a work attributed to the Pearl poet.
He decapitates it.
Yes, that is all 30 and the end of the game. Go!